Hey everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. If you've been following me for a while, then you probably know that I'm a big fan of the iPad mini, specifically the 6th generation iPad mini that released late 2021. Is this iPad mini any good, or is it a game-changing device that we barely discuss? Well, after over a year of using this tablet, I have that answer. You see, I was always very confused about the future of the iPad mini when Apple started to introduce larger iPhones like the iPhone 6 Plus. At that time, the iPad mini had a 7.9-inch display, while iPhones were slowly getting closer and closer to 6 inches. But the iPad mini always had great love from its community of supporters, even though the majority of customers were opting for larger screen iPads. Perhaps another reason was because Apple wouldn't update the iPad mini as frequently as they did with other iPads, which always somehow made it seem like an outdated product. But in September of 2021, Apple released the 6th generation iPad mini, and I strongly believe that's when the iPad mini became the product that it was destined to be. A super portable device that would handle content consumption and productivity incredibly well. You see, I love iPads in general, and I use the 12.9-inch iPad Pro as my daily driver. But what I have noticed is that I use it more like a laptop than anything else. I almost always have it attached to my Magic Keyboard, and I'm doing work on it 80% of the time. So the reason I was so excited to get my hands on the iPad mini, the 6th generation one, was because I can finally use it as a casual device where I can take it with me everywhere I go, watch my movies and TV shows, read books, take notes on, and surf the web on this beautiful 8.3-inch liquid retina display. In fact, on my channel, I have done numerous videos where I talk about how this iPad mini is also a fantastic e-reader. I'll have links in the description below for you to check those videos out. Now that the iPad mini supports the Apple Pencil 2, this, in my opinion, now makes it the perfect digital note-taking device. I even did a video comparing the note-taking capabilities of the iPad mini versus Amazon's latest Kindle Scribe. You can click the link above or in the description below to check that video out. Apple is turning the larger iPads more and more like laptops with the M2 chips, keyboard accessories, and even software features like Stage Manager. For many people, including like myself, the iPad Pro and the larger iPads in general are more like laptops now. For quite some time now, I've been taking 2 iPads with me everywhere I go. I know it sounds crazy, but just hear me out. The iPad Pro for me is like a laptop. I do all my work on there, create documents, send and view emails, do graphic design work, video editing, all of that. But when it comes to reading books or browsing social media, or even just watching YouTube videos, for an example, my 12.9-inch iPad Pro is just too big of a device to be comfortable for that. Oftentimes when I'm at a coffee shop, my iPad takes up most of the table space. And also, you can definitely not use a larger iPad one-handed for a long period of time. It's just too cumbersome and uncomfortable, and as an avid reader, I don't need such a massive 13-inch display to read on. And that is where the iPad mini comes in. It's a fantastic content consumption device. I can easily lay it on desks or even the airplane tray table. I can hold it on bed, and as an avid reader, I love reading books on it. It's the perfect device for simple tasks. But that doesn't mean it's not great for productivity. There's been many times where I haven't had my iPad Pro with me or its battery had just died and I had to quickly mark up some documents, and this iPad mini let me easily do that. Now, do I prefer to do a lot of those productivity related tasks on this device versus the iPad Pro? Of course, I prefer the larger screen iPad Pro, but it's good to know that this iPad mini can handle a lot of the productivity as well if I really need to. Now, the question is this iPad mini that released in 2021 still worth it? I say absolutely. First of all, the A15 Bionic chip inside this works flawlessly, and with iPadOS 16 and future software updates, this device will only become more and more powerful with new features. It's also got a white color, fully laminated display with True Tone. On top of that, it's got a fingerprint resistant and anti-reflective coating. Now, as much as I love this iPad mini, there were some things that I do wish it had. First off, the display. I wish it had the 120Hz ProMotion display. After being so used to using it on my iPad Pro and on my iPhone, it's now hard to go to a device that doesn't have it. Also, it wouldn't hurt if it was a slightly brighter display as well. And of course, a mini LED display would be fantastic, but that's just wishful thinking right now. Face ID would also be quite amazing on this device. In fact, I think this is the only device that I use aside from my MacBook Pro where I use Touch ID, because with Face ID, especially on my iPad Pro or my iPhone, the moment the phone recognizes me, I swipe up and I'm in. With the iPad mini, it does sometimes annoy me that I have to reach for the button to unlock it. Definitely not a big deal, but in the future, let's hope the 7th generation iPad mini has Face ID. And last but certainly not the least, I would like Apple to customize the operating system in a way where it takes its 8.3-inch screen in consideration. I wish it was scaled a little to where the font and icons were a little larger, because it does feel quite cramped in this form factor. So in conclusion, this iPad mini is the best iPad for most people. It's a big enough screen for watching casual videos. The audio is nice and loud. It's great for FaceTime and Zoom calls, for reading books, for browsing the internet. It's light enough to hold in one hand. It's great for use when sitting, standing, or even lying down. In my eyes, this device is an absolute winner. But as always, I want to know your thoughts. Do you own the iPad mini 6? Or are you thinking about upgrading to the iPad mini 6? If you have any comments or questions, drop them down below and I'll try to reply to them as quick as I can. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and I will see you next time.